Good afternoon, everyone. We are going to get started in about a minute. So if you're ready and wanting to lay down onto your mats, go ahead. We start at 5 after 12 officially. So I'll get myself finished setting up and then we'll get going. As I said, anytime you're ready to lay down, go ahead and do that. And we'll begin with relaxation. All right, everyone. So if you're not there yet, let's take ourselves down all the way onto our backs into our relaxation pose. For most of us, this will be Shavasana with our backs flat on the ground, our legs extended, and our hips are naturally opened, noticing that the feet have probably turned out as well. Our shoulders can roll into the mat with the arms extended. In Shavasana, we raise the palm side up, so our hands are gently resting on the knuckles, allowing the fingers to softly curl into the palm of our hands. Trying to check in with the body at this point, noticing how we feel as we lay down, surrendering our body to our mat. Noticing any sounds in the room, accepting them, acknowledging them, and then allowing our focus to drift away from those sounds, any distractions, and come only to what's happening right here, right now on our mat. Begin noticing your inhale and notice your exhale. Every time we take a breath in, we fill up that balloon living underneath our belly button, feeling the rib cage rise, the chest lift. And when we exhale, that balloon deflates, allowing the body to melt even deeper down into the floor. Whatever pace or depth that we're able to take right now, noticing how that feels. Taking that active breath, being mindful, present on our mat, without any judgment, taking each pose as it comes, listening to our body, and making any changes, any necessary modifications that suit our body's needs today. With our next inhale, reaching our arms long up over our head. Nice big stretch. Perhaps our breathing comes fuller now. And we'll release our arms, gathering our knees into our chest. Go ahead and give yourself a nice big hug. Take your time as we pull the legs into the body. Maybe we roll our ankles. It might feel good rocking gently right to left with those knees, meeting out any knots in our lower backs, down into the hips. And we'll slowly bring those feet down to the ground. Knees are bent, heels are in quite close to the body. Hands are down by our sides as we prepare for glute bridges. Inhale, lifting the hips up, resting down through our shoulders. We'll exhale, slowly roll down. Inhale, activate your glutes, lift your hips up, pressing down through all four corners of feet. Exhale, release. We're going to do this twice more. Inhale, lifting through the hips. And exhale, lower down. Last time, inhale, lift up. And exhale, lower. Now we can walk our feet a little bit farther away from us as we prepare for a very restorative version of our pigeon pose. We'll cross our right foot over the left thigh. And I want us to notice if we just tilted or allowed our hips to tip, trying to keep both hips equally on the ground. We've got that right foot on the other side of that left knee. And now with our right hand, let's just gently press that knee away from the face, starting to trigger a response through the outside of our right hip, maybe down that outer right thigh. And I want us to breathe. Breathe into that right hip. One more inhale. And exhale, release the leg down. We'll do that again now with the other side, bringing the left foot up and across the right thigh, having the foot on the outside of the knee, ensuring hips are fairly level, and using that left hand to gently press the knee away, triggering a response. Maybe it's a lot, maybe it's a little. Pay attention to that in that outside of the left hip. Calm with our breathing. And release the legs down. We can take our arms out to the side, walk the feet out a little bit wider towards the edge of the mat, and rock them right to left, like windshield wipers on the car window. Very gentle, loosening up anything through the hips, through that lower back. We'll do just a couple more each side. And now gently, we'll work our way all the way over onto our side so that we can pick ourselves up onto hands and knees, finding our tabletop position. Careful as we come here. If we've been sitting all day, this may be a position that requires a little bit more focus on our lower abdominal muscles. Nice flat back, taking cats and cows. We'll inhale, open the chest, look forward through cow. And exhale, tuck the tailbone, round the back, pulling those bellies up into cat. Inhale, open to cow, long through the neck. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, round the back up to cat. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. We'll do one more of each. Inhale, lengthening, tall through crown of head. And exhale, round up to cat. Leveling our back out into tabletop, making any adjustments we need to as we prepare for our songbird. Extending our right arm forward and our left leg back. We're going to try to connect our elbows, drawing elbow to the knee, and then extend with that reach. Crunch under. Inhale, extend. Exhale, connect under. Inhale, extend. Two more. Exhale. Inhale, open, working our core. Exhale. Inhale, extend, and release the hand and foot down. Repeating with the other side. Inhale, left arm, right leg, extend. Now exhale, connect under with our crunch. Inhale, reach. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, reach. Exhale, how's our balance today? Inhale, reach. Exhale, under. One more. Inhale, reach. And release all the way down. At this point, I'll invite you to take child's pose. Sitting our hips low into our heels, whatever is comfortable for us today. Maybe our knees are wide, perhaps they're narrow. We can extend the arms and rest our head. Taking a couple of big breaths and a body scan. Checking in with every joint, starting from our ankles, up through our knees, our hips, our back, our shoulders, maybe even our wrists, and finally up through the neck. How is everything feeling today? Starting to stretch through the shoulders a bit more. Let's thread the right arm underneath that left shoulder, laying into the right ear or right shoulder as best as we can, making any modifications we need to. If we'd rather sit our hips up higher, and take just 2 more breaths here. Slowly working through the middle. And we'll repeat our thread the needle from child's pose with the left arm coming under the right, and we'll lay into the left ear. Noticing any stretch through that left shoulder, up through the deltoid or in through the upper back. One more breath cycle. And exhale, release. At this point, if you'd like to stay in child's pose, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, we'll be coming up into downward facing dog. Hands are strong on the floor. We'll curl those toes underneath of us and lift our hips up. Trying to press back as much as we can. And then we can pedal the feet, toe to heel. Lifting the hips up nice and high. We'll walk our feet all the way up in between our hands, coming up into a monkey pose. Take your time getting up there. Sometimes the walk is one of the most difficult aspects of yoga, working on that transition from a pose down on the ground up to standing. So now as we stand on 2 feet, we draw our bellies in, our shoulder blades together, and we try to establish a table-like surface with our back. Knees can be slightly soft. Now switching weight into our heels, we'll find chair pose, sinking the hips down, reaching those arms forward, pull the bellies in nice and strong. Little heat building here, making sure that we can dance with our toes. And now inhale, reach up nice and tall. Exhale, release. Amazing. At this point, we're going to be going through our sun salutation series. So we start at the very top of our mat. Soft knees, we'll go through this flow from standing to the ground 2 times. Rolling the shoulders down from mountain pose. So feet are about hips width distance apart, stacking hips, knees, ankles, shoulders on top. Ready? Taking a big inhale, lift those hands up tall. Exhale, hinge from our hips as we swan dive into forward fold. Inhale, halfway up to monkey. Now exhale, forward fold. Softening the knees as we step back through plank or down dog. And we push back into down dog or child's pose. We're taking our first flow series of the day. Inhaling forward into a plank pose, hands and toes, or if you'd prefer, taking the knees to the floor. As we lower the body completely to the mat, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, peeling the head and shoulders up. Exhale, pressing back, down dog or child's pose. Listen to your body. Now stepping or walking all the way up between your hands. And we'll come halfway up to monkey again. Gives ourselves our head and heart check, working with our circulation and blood flow. Softening the knees, inhale, Bring those arms up nice and tall. And exhale, sit into chair. We'll do this one more time. Inhale, lifting tall. Exhale, swan dive, hinging at our hips. Inhale, halfway up to monkey. Exhale, forward fold. Now softening our knees, stepping back through tabletop or plank position, and press back all the way through down dog or child's pose. When you're ready, join me in our flow series. Inhaling forward through plank, either on our toes or our knees. Exhale, chaturanga, that slow lower. Inhale, cobra, lift up. And exhale, press back, down dog or child's pose. Slowly walking our hands and feet all the way up to the top of our mat. Again, that may take work. Coming halfway up to monkey. Belly's strong as we sit low in the hips. Inhale, release all the way tall. And then exhale, sit into chair last time. Inhale, hands up tall. Now before we finish, we'll drop that right arm down as we lift our left side up even taller. Throw you this way. Taking that lateral extension. And inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower the other arm. Oh my goodness, that feels so great on the side body. Let's repeat that one more. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Really focus on the lengthening. The crunching happens naturally. Inhale, lift up. And last time, exhale. Oh, inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Oh, feeling that blood flow, everything waking up. Feel free to grab a quick drink if you'd like to at this point. We're going to get into a warrior series next. The warrior series we're doing today, we'll start in warrior 1 with our right foot at the top of our mat and the left foot at the back. Maintaining hips and shoulders relatively square to the front of the room. Let's bend forward into that right knee as we really push away from that back left foot. If we're able to, let's lift the arms tall. Otherwise, a great place for those hands is down in heart center. So notice which you prefer today, and then whether or not you care to close your eyes. Take a couple big breaths. Warrior 1 is meant to be a peaceful pose. We are grounded on 2 feet with a broad base of support. Our legs are strong. Our core is engaged. We're reaching tall through that crown of head. Focusing on our breath. Noticing our inhale. And noticing our exhale. Beginning to straighten out that front leg. Soft knee, so although it's straight, we're not locking it. And we slide down into pyramid pose. Hips and shoulders square to that front shin. As soon as we feel a hamstring stretch, we rest. Trying to leave the back as flat as possible. The hands can be on the thigh, the shin, the foot, or the floor. If we have yoga blocks, that's when we like to leave our yoga blocks at the top of our mat so that we can extend our limbs by holding on to them. At this point in our pyramid pose, noticing our hamstring, our glutes, flowing our breath, using that exhale to encourage the lengthening of our muscles. We'll slowly start to soften that front knee, leaving our feet glued to the floor as we slowly walk up that front leg and open into warrior 2. Flip the body to the side. You might need to walk your feet farther as we bend forward into that right knee. Shoulders and hips are stacked. Knees are open, arms are strong. Again, if our arms are ever sore, heart center is a really great place to take them. Otherwise, energy out of our fingers, bending into that left side, where we'll do 2 side bends. The first one is reverse warrior, taking your right hand and lift it up to the ceiling, so away from your front knee. As we hold reverse warrior, stretching that whole right side of our body, I want us to continue bending into that right leg. One of my favorite warrior poses as we focus on that lateral extension, getting longer. Maintaining those hips. Let's inhale, open, warrior two, and exhale, come down into side angle. Bending our right elbow to our right thigh. 90 degrees is the aim here with both. That left arm can be high to the sky, or if you have a sore shoulder, just take it down onto our hip. Continuing to bend into that right knee as we feel a stretch happening through those inner right thigh muscles up through the groin. Working our range of motion, controlling this open position, feeling the strength of that left side of our body. Now inhale, open that up. Take both toes and turn them to the side now. From here, we're going to find ourselves coming into a standing straddle split. So our legs are straight, a little bit of a knee bend. Lift our arms up with our inhale. Exhale, reaching forward. Sending our hips back behind us, keeping our backs flat as soon as you feel a stretch. Go ahead and take the hands to the shins, holding either elbow or all the way down to the floor. Noticing what your flexibility is today. Again, I'm going to remind us, in mindfulness practice, we experience every moment as it comes without judgment, not thinking about what we've done before or any expectations of what we want to do today. Rather, hold any intentions or any focus that we want from today's class, if it's relaxation or stretch, and use that as a motivation or as a attention tool. If we want relaxation and we notice our mind wandering, every now and then, accepting that it wandered, bring our focus back to our mat, focus on the stretch, notice the feel of the muscles lengthening, and breathe into them. On our next exhale, I want us to walk our hands all the way over to that front right foot, turning the body to face the front again. Come back through plank or tabletop, and then back all the way into down dog or child's pose, whichever feels best. Trying to send those hips back, lengthen through the upper back, the shoulders, and take 2 big breaths. When you're ready, walking our hands and feet together, meeting at the top of our mat in monkey, that half lift position, giving us an opportunity to correct our posture, pull our shoulder blades in together, lengthen through the hamstrings. We'll soften the knees, inhale, reverse swan dive, lift tall, and exhale, release. Go ahead and take a moment, maybe a shoulder roll, a drink of water, as we find ourselves at the top of our mat again in Tadasana. Feeling very tall, focused, grounded, stable, as we prepare to repeat this warrior series with the left foot at the top, our right foot coming back into warrior one. Okay, we feel like our base of support is wide enough. We're able to maintain square hips and shoulders. Then we find the position, whether the arms are up high or down through heart center, whichever you prefer, keeping the shoulders shrugged or not shrugged, depressed down our backs, bellies in nice and tight. I like to close my eyes in warrior one, really drawing that focus more introspectively, looking internal, and noticing all of the little fidgets, the adjustments that my toes, my ankles, my legs are making while we hold this pose. Stretching through that back right calf, moving forward through that left thigh. Taking one last inhale here. On our exhale, let's straighten out that front leg. If our legs feel too far apart, maybe walk them in a little bit, preparing for pyramid. Sliding down our front thigh. As soon as we feel a stretch, you're going to hold it. Now, you may find yourself comparing your left leg to your right leg as we come into this position, if your hands are the same or if they're different. It's okay. That's great to be aware of how our right leg and left leg feel today in terms of stretch. It's wonderful I love the opportunity in our mindfulness training to check in with our body, noticing exactly how this left hamstring feels right now. When else in our day do we take the time to investigate and really explore our very anatomy? Enjoying this process of learning and discovery. Taking one more inhale, keeping the legs where they are as we slowly exhale, walk the hands up the leg. When you're ready, finding our way up tall, we'll open into warrior two, turning to the side of our mat, maybe separating the feet a little bit wider as we push away from that back right pinky toe into our left knee. Try to relax the toes. At times in yoga, we tense up the toes and grip. Let's lengthen. We lift up out of the arches and we lengthen through the toes, keeping that knee stacked over ankle, driving forward. We'll find our reverse warrior. Left hand lifts up. Remember, we never have to worry about that bending component. Let's think instead about the extension, lifting tall through that left side as we continue to bend into our left knee. One more inhale, lift up tall. And exhale, come down through side angle, continuing to bend into that left knee as we open that right arm nice and tall, never leaning into the left shoulder, being so strong that we could remove the arm if necessary. Working the strength as we increase our range of motion around our hip joint. And inhale, lifting up nice and tall. Take our time if we need to orient ourselves as we turn both legs to the side of our mat again, preparing for our final straddle split. Big inhale, lift the arms up. Now exhale, send the hips back, soft knees as we reach forward. As soon as we feel that stretch, we rest. Now, if you need more, we walk the hands out on the floor and add that pulling component from our hands to the ground, to our hips up, back, and high. And if we're more relaxed or taking this from a more passive approach, feel free to hold your legs or even your elbows in ragdoll. We'll hold this for about 3 more breaths. Walking to the front left foot, turning the foot so that we can face the front edge of our mat. We'll sweep the leg back behind us through table or plank and press back into down dog or child's pose. Notice how this feels this time around. If you've taken down dog each time, maybe your hips are higher, your heels are closer to the floor, your chest is farther between your shoulders. If we're in child's pose, maybe we feel like we've gotten smaller or longer or softer. Regardless of where we are right now, let's all walk our hands and feet up to the top of our mat for our last bit of standing work. Coming halfway up to monkey, transitioning from that inverted position of down dog or child, allowing the blood to slowly flow more evenly between head and heart. We'll soften our knees. Inhale, reverse swan dive, lift up so tall. Exhale, release. Take a moment if you need to, again, to find Tadasana, mountain pose. And anyone who needs a drink, this is a wonderful time to do that. If we're standing tall at the top of our mat, taking a couple of deep breaths. All right. At this point, we're going to take a few balance poses. So if you felt like your balance was a little off today, please feel free to move yourself next to a wall or a table or a chair. Really helpful if to hold something. Also notice your mat, if it's really thick and cushiony, it's going to force your feet to be jiggling all over the place. So I like to step on a really nice hard surface. So I'll come off my mat, stand on my hard surface of my floor as we come into our balance pose. Roll those shoulders down. Transfer the weight to the left foot. So we'll stand just on that left foot, lifting the right knee up right in front of you. Now this may be where you stop. You might want to take both hands and support that leg, really rolling the shoulders back behind. Or you can take both hands around your foot and extend your leg out front. So whether you're holding your knee, holding your foot, or keeping your hands free, we'll try to hold this big toe hold. Lifting tall. And we hold for one more inhale. And exhale, release. And we will fidget and repeat that very same pose on the other leg. So if you're against a wall or table, you might need to turn around. Standing so tall, we transfer the weight into the right foot, picking that left foot up off the floor. And if you need to, just keep the foot down. It's a nice kickstand. Every now and then, lift the knee up 90 degrees. Maybe hold the hands under, just not letting the knee pull your posture forward, really securing shoulders down your back. And if anyone needs more, we interlace those hands if we're able to around the foot. Holding that leg, whether it's modified with the knee bent or with the leg straight in full big toe hold. Shoulders down our backs, finding a spot to focus on. That's very helpful when we balance. One more inhale. And exhale, slowly release. Fidget, fidget, fidget. Encourage blood flow down through those feet, working through the toes and ankles. The next posture we're going to take in our final single leg balance, each on the right and left, will be our standing pigeon or standing figure four. So tall with our Tadasana stance, we'll cross that right ankle over the left knee, opening the knee. So now you can see I've drawn the number 4 with my leg position. At this point, we can sit down through a bent left leg, sitting our hips back behind us. I like reaching my arms forward. If you're holding a wall or table, feel free to take that opposite hand to the knee, or we can always find heart center. Let's think about how tall our posture can be, even though we're sitting low in our chair. Lots of fidgeting through that left supporting foot as we do great stretching through the outside of that right thigh into that right hip. Inhale, lift up tall. And exhale, release. Ooh, I'm going to need lots of fidgeting on that one. And reestablish Tadasana when you're able. Zip up through the belly. Transfer the weight into the right foot as we cross that left foot up and over. It's above the thigh and the foot's on the outside of the leg. Drawing that figure 4, we sit into our hip. Low through the right knee if you're able to, whether your arms are tall. I like the arms above the head because it reinforces the shoulder roll down our backs, really nice and tall. If you're more comfortable with hands in heart center or holding a chair or a wall, please take that position. Amazing. Let's take our big inhale, lift up, and exhale, release. Lots of fidgets. Let's return to the top of our mat. Now we are going to be coming down into seated position. As we come down, we inhale, lift tall. Exhale, hinge forward, big swan dive sweep. Through forward fold, we'll take our time, stepping back through tabletop. And then sweep those legs around all the way out in front of us. Now, as we work our way down to a seated position, we're going to do a couple of different poses here. The first one is going to be a revolving knee to head pose. Very complicated way for saying we're going to bend to the side. We'll start by bringing our right leg out into a straddle split position. However it's opened, our left foot bends in like it's in butterfly. If this bothers anyone's knee, have it bent much greater angle. Otherwise, tuck it in nice and close. We want to have both sits bones on the floor and that right toe up to the ceiling. Let's take our right knuckles to the inside of the leg As we fan that left arm open, oh my goodness, amazing side stretch. Really opening that left shoulder rather than letting it come down. Open it and lift the arm high. For anyone who's bothered with the arm extended, we'll take it to our hip. Trying to press that left knee down into the ground. Notice all the stretch we're feeling up that left side from our hip, to our back, into our side, maybe even up into that shoulder. Inhale, lift tall, and exhale, release those legs. We'll bring our left leg out into a straddle split and our right foot into that butterfly position. You may notice that one leg feels more open than the other, or you need to modify to sit tall on top of sits bones, left toe up to the ceiling. Ready? We take a big side bend, right arm high, forward down to our hip, and reach that left hand beyond, really trying to press that left hip and knee down towards or into the ground. Staying so open across the collar, noticing how amazing this stretch is feeling on that right side. Inhale, lifting up. Oh, and shake it out. You can bring those legs in. As we're now going to take our froggy position. So from the seated pose, I want us to sweep the legs underneath of us. You probably turn to the long edge of your mat. And I actually like to double up my mat by just folding it in, kind of like a sandwich here. Now it's thicker, but if you already have a plush carpet underneath you, that's no problem. Because we're on our knees, and in our froggy position, we want to separate our knees as far out to the side as they'll go, and then take our feet and fan them out. So my feet are at 90 degrees. My knees are approaching 90 degrees. I'm drawing a straight line from knee, hip, hip, knee. So my pelvis is not forward of my knees. Everything's in line with one another. If you were standing above me, it would be a straight line. And then we can come down onto our elbows. Now, if this froggy position is too much for anyone, rather than taking your feet wide like this, you can bring them in close and come back more into a wide-kneed child's pose. So if you're not enjoying frog, please feel free to come back into child's pose, separating your knees wide. We're feeling an intense groin stretch right now. Those inner thigh muscles that we've talked about are definitely feeling a lot of sensation concentrated in that inner thigh area. One more big inhale. And exhale, releasing those feet, slowly walking our hands up, pressing those knees together. And before we go anywhere, we'll sit back into a child's pose. Trying to really extend the arms and sit the hips down nice and low. Taking our last big shoulder stretch, we'll work our way up into our final seated position. If you need to unfold your mat. One more time. And this time, your seated position will be what is ever comfortable to you. Sitting up so tall. Taking our arms, I'll ask that we bring them all the way up above our head and interlace the fingers. And now fan them down our head. With our next inhale, we'll stay here. And now exhale, try to press the palms up. Inhale, bring them behind the head again. We'll do this a few times. Exhale, press up, big shoulder stretch. Lengthening. Inhale, come down. Exhale, press up. Inhale, come down. And exhale, press up. And inhale, come down. Now at this point, we'll bring our elbows around our head and gently tuck the chin down into our chest. Feeling any sort of stretch at the back of our neck. Maybe we rock the head, or maybe we simply hold this and stay here. We'll slowly lift ourselves upright with our inhale. Exhale, release those arms. Amazing. Taking ourselves completely down onto the ground. We have one final stretch before we end in relaxation. Making sure we're comfortable. I always bring my knees into my chest. Love giving that final hug before we get into our final work. This will be our spinal twist. We'll extend both legs down long on the ground, reaching our arms out long, creating a T with the body, looking like that capital letter T. Taking our right leg up about 90 degrees. Nice big inhale here. Exhale, lower to the left. Allow the leg to melt softly into the ground as we look over that right shoulder. Notice any sensation we might be feeling down that right side. Inhale, lifting the leg up, and exhale, release. Now with the other side, we inhale, lift the knee up, exhale, lower to the right, and we can look over the left arm if that's comfortable, trying to keep both shoulders down to the floor. Notice our breathing slow, our body calm. Inhale, lifting the knee up, and exhale, release. At this point, I invite everyone to take the pose that's most comfortable for you right now. If it's butterfly, if it's a seated position, or for most, we'll find ourselves in Shavasana with our legs slightly separated and open, our toes relaxed, our arms hanging loosely by our sides with the fingers gently curled in the palm of our hands, our head resting on the very flat part of our skull with our nose pointing straight up to the ceiling. We release tension from our brow, our eyelids. Relax the tongue from the roof of our mouth, releasing that tight locked jaw. Allowing our breath to come more slowly now, with full, complete inhales and exhales. And as we enjoy this final relaxation, we notice the body becoming softer with each exhale and being filled with more positive energy with each inhale. Taking our final big breath here. Release everything with that exhale. And begin to wiggle our fingers and our toes. Perhaps rolling our wrists and ankles in circular-like motions. And gently bending our knees, whether we rock and roll up to sitting or gently roll over onto our sides through baby or fetal pose. We can pick ourselves up into our final seated position, at which point we will say our goodbye together. As we make our way up, comfortable with our position, sitting so tall with great posture, shoulders down. Taking that last inhale together, we reach our arms tall up above our head. Exhaling down through heart center. Namaste. Thank you so very much. I hope you enjoyed the class, and I will look forward to seeing you next week